Good morning, y'all. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I really do not feel good. I've been feeling sick for the past, it started about Thursday. Today's Monday. Thursday I felt fine, but I felt something was coming on, a cold, hopefully, prayerfully. But anyway, so what I was gonna say was I'm also on my cycle. So I feel like complete SHIT. Anywho, I'm getting ready to take some pills, some Tylenol, because I kind of got like a headache going on. Y'all, it's just a mess. We voted early.
Gotta post that picture on that gram. Okay, I'll show these people you voted early.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and get your temperature underneath your tongue.
Okay.
Good, 98
Okay.
too.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
All right, and it's gonna be a Q-tip in the nostril.
Okay.
Oh, great. Next one, tickle. You did amazing.
All right. All right.
Finger to get your heart rate and oxygen. Then I'm gonna get your temperature underneath your tongue.
Okay.
Great, 98.7.
Okay. Good.
Good, 83 heart rate. Tickle. And next one, tickle. All right. Ooh, you guys did great.
That's right.
All righty. These
All
instant ones will take about 30 minutes,
Okay.
okay? The doctor will come out and let you know what your instant ones is
All
in
right.
about 30 minutes, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It's day 8. Since my symptoms started. Only day 3 since I found out that I was coronavirus positive. It's been too much. It's too heavy. It's too many thoughts going on in my mind. God, what are you trying to show me during this time? Okay. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. First of all, your eyes have not deceived you. You definitely read the title correct on this video. This is my story time video, or my testimony really of what I have been going through for the past month. Well, the whole time I haven't been going through it, but something that I went through this past month since I have not been on YouTube. And that is, I was dealing with COVID-19. That is one of the big reasons why I have not been posting. So let's get into it, because I'm pretty sure you guys have a whole lot of questions. And so it took me such a long time to be able to sit down and actually tell my story. So I am very happy to finally be on here and to be telling my story, and to be telling my truth, and to be telling my testimony, because that's exactly what it is. It is a testimony. Hopefully this won't be a really long video. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet with telling you guys the important details at the same time. It's crazy because originally when I thought to make this video, I was gonna leave a few things out because I knew a few people who may be watching this video, and I didn't want them to judge me or something like that. You know, when you're telling your truth and telling your story, you're always sometimes worried in the back of your mind what people are going to think, right? But you know what? I said to myself, get those thoughts out of your mind, because this is your story. This is your testimony. This is your truth. And no one can take that away from you. So anyways, let's get right into everything. So first of all, I have my coffee here in my favorite coffee mug, and I'm drinking out of a straw, y'all, because I just like drinking out of straws. And I'm also really, really tired. I've been up since 6 a.m., but this is finally a time where I can sit down and talk uninterrupted. My son is sleeping and everything, so I figured let's knock it all out, honey. Okay, so the first question you guys may want to know is, how did you find out that you had COVID-19? Okay, so to start from the very beginning, I contracted COVID-19 on Monday, October 12th, okay? I caught it on Monday, October 12th, and by Thursday, I was feeling symptoms. I actually caught COVID-19 my very first time going back to the gym. Now, I know what some of you guys may be thinking. The gym is like the #1 place they tell people to stay out of, right? Even though all of them are back open, that's like one of the places where they tell you stay away from, right? Couple of things. My gym, I joined this gym because my mom was a part of this gym, and I really love this gym. It's a family gym. It's really, really small. It's really family size. It's not like these big gyms with like a bunch of equipment and like people coming in and out. It's not that type of gym. It's really, my mom calls it a specialty gym because there are several classes that you can take, from Zumba, from just different classes, different workout classes that you can take. And so I have been doing the classes virtual, and I have been doing my own like workouts and stuff like that since COVID-19 had taken place. So I hadn't been to this gym since March, when like it like shut down and everything. You know, I guess we started to get a little bit comfortable. Let's be real, y'all. As time went on, you start to get like a little bit more comfortable. You see, you know, people going to the gym and they doing their thing, and you know, they had no cases since they opened back up. I don't know when gyms were allowed to open back up in Virginia, whatever that month is, but they had no cases. They had no issues for several months, right? And so, you know, they were taking the precautions, taking the temperatures, cleaning down everything, doing everything that they could on their end, right, to make sure that no one is coming in there sick and things like that. So I was not even going to go to the gym this day. I was a little bit debating. It was a Zumba class, and I was like, and I love doing the Zumba classes in person, but I hadn't done it, like I said, since March in person. And for a long time, the instructor was not even doing them anywhere. So she had even like for a couple of months had been easing her way back into doing in-person classes and things like that. Me and my mom were thinking about going, but we were kind of like, well, no, but we were thinking about going. So I'd had a really, really stressful day at work that day. Really, really stressful. It was one thing after the other. And I said, you know what, Mom, let's go to the gym class, because I knew that was something that makes me feel better, make me feel good. I'm dancing, the music is blasting, you know, I'm in my zone. I'm like, let's just go. We'll be fine, you know? So we went, we had a good time, and that was that. So that was Monday, October 12th. That Thursday, which would be the 15th of October, I started to feel ever so slightly, it was like a scratchy throat type feeling. You know when you have a scratchy throat. Now, because COVID is going on and people don't even have colds, it seemed like, anymore, in the back of my mind, I was like, could this be COVID-19? But I was like, nah, it can't be. It's just a little bit of a cold coming on. I feel fine. You know, I don't have a temperature. I just have a scratchy throat. Literally, that's it. I don't have any, you know, nose running, whatever the case. That same day, my mom had actually told me that she was starting not to feel good. So I was thinking maybe the both of us are coming down with a cold or whatever, right? So it's so funny because I was doing her lashes in the bathroom. So, you know, she was getting ready for work and everything. And so once she told me she wasn't feeling good, I went and got my mask. I said, oh no, ma'am. Oh no, man, you don't feel good. You know, we laughing and joking, but little did we know, right? Thursday comes and goes. Friday comes around. I still feel like I have a cold coming on. So at this point, I don't even want a cold coming on, y'all. So I'm like, I'm about to take the rest of this sea moss gel that we got in the house. I'm about to take a whole bunch of emergencies, you know, the little emergency packets that you put in your water or whatever drink. And you drink it. I took a few of those. I'm trying to think. It was something else, but anything we had in the house that was like vitamin C and like cold related, I was taking, right? By Friday, feeling like, okay, the cold in my mind is getting a little bit more intense. Even though I still wasn't like sneezing and nose running, I felt like my throat was starting to get more itchy than what it was. And like, kind of like, you know, when you have like a head cold type of thing going on and you're trying to get congested, it's like those feelings that you get right before you're about to get fully congested and stuff like that. So Friday, I was, once again, vitamin C, anything that we had in the house that were elderberry, the sea moss, everything. So I was going ham on Friday too. Saturday comes and my mom, she feels like she's having chills. And I'm like, chills? I'm like, that don't sound good. So mind you, at this time, I didn't even know that chills was related to COVID-19. I didn't even know that was a symptom, but I knew that it was serious when she said chills. Because I'm like, either you got the flu or it's COVID, it's something serious. You got something beyond just a cold. I just feel like I got a little scratchy throat. You know what I'm saying? And a little bit of a head cold type of thing. So my mom ends up going to get tested. But at that time, they didn't have the rapid testing. So, you know, the rapid testing, you get your results back in 30 minutes. They didn't have that at that time. I remember Saturday morning. I distinctly remember Saturday morning, I ended up taking my temperature. Because I was like, I'm really starting not to feel good. And that's in that clip that I showed y'all earlier where I have on the pink kind of like robe. I decided to go ahead and take my temperature, and my temperature was at 99.9. At that point, I'm like scared, because even though that's not a high temperature, that's like a low grade fever, and I don't get low grade fevers. So I was really, really, really concerned at that point. So I took some Tylenol, and probably about 2 hours later, the temp was completely gone. It was like I was back at like between 97 and 98. So I was like, all right, I'm cool. And then, and out of nowhere, y'all, I started to feel so much better on Saturday. Like, it was so weird. That Saturday, I started to feel so much better. I was like, okay. And I think it was because I was steadily on the clock taking vitamin C. Elderberry, just elderberries, orange juice, like anything that can knock a cold out that we had in the house, I was taking it. Excuse that noise, Deon just left. So I think that's why I started to feel so much better. Plus, I had taken the Tylenol. So that day, me and Deon went to go vote. We went to go vote early. And then we also went to the pumpkin patch with Kingston. We took him to the pumpkin patch. And you had to wear masks in certain areas there. Anyway, so this was all Saturday. Okay. Sunday came. I was like, I'm feeling better. You know, I still feel like I got a little bit of a cold, but I'm feeling better. No temp, whatever. And I was still at this time taking vitamin C, taking sea moss, taking, you know, all of that stuff. So, I want to say Tuesday gets here. Mind you, my mom got tested. I didn't. She got tested because she had chills. She was even starting to feel better. So she had taken time off of work because she was like, you know, I'm waiting for my test results or whatever. But she was planning to go back to work that Wednesday. Tuesday, she gets a phone call that morning, and it's from, I guess, the place where we got tested, or CDC, whatever. They're telling her that her test results were positive. She was stuck. And it's like, I walked in right at that moment where she was getting the news that she was positive. And so I walked in right after she found out that she was positive. And I was like, you know, what's going on? And she said, my test results came back positive. And it was like my world came crashing down. It's like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe, I really did not think that she was positive. And at that point, I was terrified because I knew that I probably had it too. I've been all around my baby. I've been all around my husband, my parents, everything. So that day, I had tried to go and get tested, but it was like too late or something like that. So on Wednesday, I got tested. So mind you, I first felt symptoms the prior Thursday. So it had almost been a full 7 days when I had even gotten tested. So I had gotten tested, and when I went, they did do the rapid testing. And so I got the results back that I was positive. And Deon got tested as well, and his results were negative. My father also got tested, and he was negative. So basically, when my mom got tested positive, I knew at that point that I also was positive because I had been sick as well. Even though I felt like I was getting better, I never felt 100%, and I was still sick. Me and her were sick at the same time. So I wasn't even thinking the gym at this time. I was not even thinking about the gym. Once my mom found out she was positive, of course she was communicating with different places where she had been and letting them know that she had tested positive. Upon that point, we, she let people know at the gym, and we are part of the group chat on Facebook, and we hadn't even seen that, they had let us know that there was a woman who had tested positive who was in the gym basically on the same day that we were there, taking the same class that we were taking. She had also tested positive, and then there were even a few others who also tested positive. So at that point, we knew that we had contracted the virus from the gym. And mind you, there was no equipment involved in the gym, so it wasn't like we were sharing equipment or anything. We were literally just in the same room taking a class. Anywho, when I found out I was positive, even though I had known that I probably was since my mom was positive, it was very, 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 very hard for me. I took it really, really hard. Sorry for this noise in the background. Somebody's like cutting their grass or something. But I took it really, really hard. And I was so terrified, not for me, because I really felt like I was gonna be okay, but I was terrified because of my 2-year-old son. Mind you, my son had been in the hospital not even a full year prior to all of this going down with Kawasaki disease. And they weren't even sure that he had Kawasaki disease, but it was for sure, because now when the cardiologists look at him, they say it doesn't look like he had Kawasaki disease. It looks like he had a really bad infection that we couldn't test for. And it's interesting because, and I don't want to go off too far, but the symptoms of Kawasaki disease are so similar to the symptoms that children have who have COVID-19. We know this now, but we didn't know this then, because this at that time, this was November of last year, right? I was really terrified. I blamed myself, of course, as a mother for going to the gym, and my mother blamed herself also as a mother. It was just a lot. It was a lot. This was definitely tops one of the lowest times in my life. I wore my mask every single day. I wore my gloves every single day. But I was still mommy to my son. I still took care of him. I talked to his doctor, and they said, yeah, you still, we understand you're still gonna be mom. I wasn't quarantining away from Kingston, but I was taking the precautions, constantly washing my hands, constantly wearing my mask, constantly wearing my gloves, and monitoring him like crazy. And there was one particular night, I thought I was gonna get through this without crying. Let's do it. I'm not sure. There was one particular night, and I don't remember what day it was, but Kingston developed a fever. It was one night he developed a fever. And that night, his fever was about 100.2-ish. And that was the night I basically had a nervous breakdown, because I was so terrified and scared that my son would have to go back to the hospital. Mind you, when we were in the hospital dealing with his Kawasaki disease, we were in the hospital for I think 5 days. And it was so horrible. It was such a terrible experience, but God got us through it. But I was so terrified that Kingston would have to go back to the hospital because I said he has a fever. He has a fever. I freaked out. And I remember giving him to my husband because I normally put him down for the night, but my anxiety was so bad. My nerves were so bad. I wanted to like die, but I couldn't because I still had to be a mom. I still had to be here for Kingston. Anyways, that night that he had a fever, we were able to get some medicine in him and put him to bed. That was the night that my mother and I stayed up the entire night. Like, we did not sleep. We did not sleep. And my mom could have went to sleep, but she was my rock. And not to take from my husband. My husband was my rock as well, but my mother was she was my mom. She is my mom. And so we stayed up and we prayed. I cried. I blamed myself. I hated myself. I pitied myself. I prayed the entire night for my son. I kept going and checking on my son, seeing if he was warm, checking his fever while he was asleep. His fever was going down, but it was still not all the way down, still like a fever. And finally, the next morning, his fever went down. His fever was gone. And he never had a fever again. He never had a fever again. And I was so thankful, but I was so scared. I was constantly checking Kingston's temperature, constantly giving him medicine and giving him vitamin C and giving him everything that I can, constantly, because I just did not know what was going to happen. So that's there on Kingston. The rest of my symptoms, I did lose my sense of smell. I lost my sense of smell, and I did not realize it until the day that I got tested. My husband was cleaning with bleach, and I could not smell it at all. And from that point, I realized that my smell was gone, and I realized that this was really real. I also got headaches. The headaches only lasted like maybe 2 days. And I took Tylenol. I got really bad headaches, but my headaches, after 2 days, they were fine. I did not lose my taste. I could still taste, thank you God. But I did not have the desire to eat. And I'm an eater. Anybody who know me know I'm an eater. I did not have the desire to eat at all. And I don't know, I always thought it was my anxiety that caused me not to be able to eat, because I was so angry. When I tell you guys, this happened almost a month ago, so some like intimate details are just coming back to my head. But I was so anxious all the time. I constantly had my mask on and my gloves, and I would rock. I would take care of my son, but everything I did, I would rock or I would shake, because my anxiety, my nerves were so bad. I literally thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. Like, it was like I was having panic attacks. And I want to thank my mom for really, and of course I know that's my mom, she always gonna be there when I need her, but I really needed her to just be my mom, and she's always my mom, but I really needed her to just hug me. And my mom cried with me. We prayed, we hummed to God, we called out to God this whole entire time. And God revealed himself so many times through this process. He revealed himself and he showed me that he was still here for me. As the days went on, things slowly got better. I remember day 9 of having COVID-19, my smell started to come back. It didn't fully come back, but it started to come back. I lost a little bit of weight during COVID-19 because I wasn't eating. I'm normally 130 and I got down to 124. And that was just because I couldn't eat. I could not eat. You know, I was calling the doctor. I was, you know, asking them, you know, do they want me to bring Kingston in, you know, during the time that, and they said, no, if his fever is down, they said, if you, then he's fine. They said, if you cannot, there's ever a time where you cannot get his fever down, then give us a call or go to the hospital, whatever. You will know when it gets to that point, obviously, because you're his mom. And so I prayed, and my doctor, the staff and my doctors are praying people too. So I was telling them, you know, keep us in your prayers and stuff like that. And they were even praying for us. But as time went on, like I said, the symptoms did improve. My smell came back. Once I knew Kingston was fine, I was able to eat a bit more. Still not fully, but I could eat a bit more. I could be in a room without shaking. But it was a really low point in my life. I took a social media fast. I didn't get on social media. I said I'm gonna spend more time with God than what I normally do, because I realized that my prayers were routine. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying before COVID, I would say the same prayer in the morning, the same prayer at night. It was becoming routine. And so I said, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to really take this time and spend it with God. And so I downloaded a Bible app and I got into my word. And one of the prayers, I'm sorry, I cannot remember if I will put the Bible verse up here, but there's a verse that I prayed back when Kingston was sick with Kawasaki. And it was, Lord, help me with my unbelief. In the Bible, there was this man's son who he had a demon in him. The son had a demon in him. And the father prayed to God to help him his unbelief, because he knew that God is the only one that could heal his son, but he still had doubts that his son would be healed. And that was one of the prayers that I prayed to God, because I knew that God would heal, but I knew that God could heal, but I was having doubts if he would. And so I would just, God, help me my unbelief. And I would pray and I would read that scripture over and over, and other healing scriptures. I started going on Google and looking up healing scriptures, because I don't know the whole Bible. And I was praying my own prayers, and I was doing my devotions, and I still do my devotions. Now I do my devotions every morning and every night, and I spend that time with God. And when I say my prayers in the morning, I really I'm being more intentional in my prayers, and really spending that time with God, that prayer and that worship. And I was gonna fast. I was like, I'm about to fast from food, because number one, I'm already not eating. And so I'm just gonna use this time to get into the word. And all of my family was telling me, you know, you can fast in a different way. You don't have to fast food, because you actually do need food to get better. You need to get stronger. You need to get healthier. And so I decided I would fast from social media instead, because that is something that I'm normally on every single day, every single second, it seems. So I did fast from my Instagram, my Facebook, and those are the only two social media forms that I get on. And it got better, guys. Things got so much better. We had times of smiling. My son was running all around here. Me and my mom would have our masks on. We would social distance. away from everybody, and Kingston would make us chase him around the house and everything. And so we had times of smiling. We would get outside and get some fresh air, you know, just around here in the front, and we would wear our mask. The mask drove me crazy, guys, because it was a constant reminder that I was a walking virus. That's how I felt. Like I felt like, I remember telling my mom, I said, or maybe I was telling Deon, I said, you know, I feel like all I am is this positive test result. Like I literally felt like I was walking around like I was just positive, you know. And it was almost as if I had a sexually transmitted disease, like something that I should be ashamed of. Like I felt so ashamed. And really, guys, and this is not to scare anybody, but really anytime you walk out your house, you know, and go somewhere, you are at risk. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, because I've known actually a few people who have had it. I haven't been around them in months or anything. I haven't been around anybody other than family. But I know some people who have them and they don't, you know, they keep it to themselves. Only their close family and friends know. And I understand that, you know, because people really do judge you, and people really do treat you differently when they find out that you have COVID-19 or that you had COVID-19. But the truth of the matter is, it can really happen to any of us. You don't have to go to the gym. You can be around family and somebody can have, you know, it could be anything. And they even think it's airborne now, so they think it's in the air. So, but I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but I just wanted to come on here and say, lean on God. If you don't take anything else from this whole conversation, please take to lean on God and to really have faith in Him. When you pray and believe your prayers, and He will get you through. So you probably could tell from my story, physically, it was not that bad for me. Physically, I could have dealt with it. Honestly, if my mother would have never gotten tested, I would not have gotten tested. I would have passed it off as a cold, because that's truly what it felt like, was a cold. I don't know if taking those supplements helped me. It may have. I'm taking them still like crazy. I've lessened up on taking so much a day, because it's not good to take so much vitamin C a day. But I do take my zinc, my elderberry, my vitamin C, and like I alternate them with the days that I take each, you know, whatever. So yeah, like I said, physically it was not terrible for me, but mentally is what really just like pretty much broke me. It's some heavy stuff, but God showed me that He is in control. My mother is doing amazing. She went back to work. I did get retested, even though, here's a fun fact for people who haven't had COVID, you might not know this, but of course when you have COVID, the CDC calls you and they want to know all of this stuff, and then they want to tell you all of this, you know, stuff, right? But one of the things they tell you is, you know, stay quarantined. Interesting to me is that they tell you that on it's not even day 14. They tell you like day 10, since symptoms started, you can actually go back out in public with your mask and stuff on. And you know, as long as you have not had a fever in 72 hours and your symptoms are getting better, you're fine, because you're not contagious anymore. And they tell you not to get retested. That's what they told me. They said, don't get retested. You have no reason to get retested. Just quarantine, do your quarantine, and you're not going to be contagious anymore. They said the reason why you shouldn't get retested is because 9 times out of 10, or not necessarily 9 times out of 10, but you do have a high chance of testing positive still for the coronavirus for up to 3 months. So they were like, if you want to get retested in January, you can, but they're like, if you test positive again, you're just gonna get a phone call from us again. You know, and the CDC they call you like a few times. So they're like, hopefully we never hear from you again. I'm like, hopefully I never have to hear from y'all again, CDC. Okay? Lord. But I still got retested, y'all. I had no reason. I work, you know, from home right now, so it was no reason for me to get retested, but I just wanted to, for the first time ever, see that I'm negative. And I said, if I'm positive, then I'm positive. But so I got retested, and I was negative, and I was so happy. So I had got retested on day like 17. It was a lot of people, when they get retested, they do it after like 14 days. I did it at like day 17, and I was negative, and I was super happy. I just felt good about myself to see that negative. But anywho, I feel like this has been a really long video. That's my story. The holidays are coming up. I have so much to be thankful and grateful for, and so everybody is blessed, and I'm super happy. I never would have thought in a million years that I ever would have been contracted with coronavirus, but it happened to me. It happened to me, and I'm so glad that God saw fit that I survived this. And my mother is almost at the age, she's almost 60. But I want people to take this very seriously. Because even though it wasn't that bad for me physically, there are a lot of people who are young and healthy, and physically it's really bad for them. Also, there is, I can't think of the name, I'll put it down below, but there are these doctors who will come to your house, and they will not only test you, they will, and when they come, they are wrapped up from head to toe, baby. They are wrapped up better than the nurses. Feet, everything is just covered. They can't get nothing or bring nothing to you, okay? But they come to your house, they can check you, they can administer medication. There are real doctors who can come to you. I think they're called the dispatch. They're called the dispatch. My mom found out about them on Facebook. They are amazing. We got checked up on after, when we were like, you know, past 14 days, just to get a regular checkup. And they actually did my retest for me, and they checked up on me, my breathing, my what is it, like your heart rate, like all of that stuff. And so everything was good, everything was great. So yeah, people may want to look into that for people who don't feel comfortable going to their doctor right now, stuff like that. You can have doctors come to you. It's so amazing. Their customer service is superb. But anywho, I'm gonna end this video right here because this was a little bit longer than I anticipated it. But I'm so glad that I finally got my story out, and I look forward to putting some more content out on my channel, because I do miss being active on my channel. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening with open heart and with open ears, with an open heart and an open mind. Stay safe out there. I pray you never get COVID-19. I pray no one in your family ever gets COVID-19. Happy Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up soon. We have so much to be thankful for. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.